On a bustling morning at the local market, Benjamin arranged his fruits with the skill of someone who knows every detail of his trade, yet his attention was drawn to a soft cry standing out amidst the usual hustle and bustle of the market. Following the sound, he found a boy with teary eyes and a dirty face hiding behind a vegetable stall. "Hey there, little one, what happened? Are you lost?" Benjamin asked, kneeling to be at the child's eye level. The boy looked at him, hesitant, and nodded. "What's your name?" "Sam," the boy whispered, rubbing his eyes with the back of his hands. Benjamin smiled, trying to reassure him. "Sam, I'm Benjamin. Let's find your parents, okay? Do you remember where you last saw them?" Sam nodded and took Benjamin's hand, trusting him immediately. Together, they traversed the market, with Benjamin asking questions at times and carefully listening to the boy's confusing descriptions of where he got separated from his parents. Finally, they spotted a distressed couple looking around, clearly searching for someone. Benjamin squeezed Sam's hand, guiding him to them. "Sam!" the boy's mother exclaimed, rushing to hug him, tears of relief mixed with smiles as she lifted him up. "Thank you, sir. I don't know what we would have done without your help." Sam's father extended his hand, grateful. "I don't know how to thank you. Do you work here?" "Yes, I sell fruits over there," Benjamin pointed to his modest stall adorned with colorful fruits. "We're thinking of starting a business in the area and need reliable people. Would you be interested in working with us? You seem to have a good heart, and that's rare nowadays." Benjamin, surprised by the unexpected offer, felt a wave of hope. Could this be the chance to change his family's fortunes? "I would be honored to discuss that. Thank you for the opportunity." As the couple walked away with Sam, Benjamin looked back at his stall. Perhaps that was the turn he so desperately needed. In that moment, he didn't know how much that simple act of kindness would transform his life. Days passed, conversations unfolded, and Benjamin closed his fruit stall to embark on his new venture, hopeful and full of energy. In the initial days, everything seemed normal. He was learning about logistics and products, often accompanied by one of the managers, Robert, a man always serious and reserved. On a rainy afternoon, while checking inventory in one of the warehouses, Benjamin heard muffled voices from the other side of a half-open door. Curious and cautious, he approached silently, not to interrupt. "Are you sure this will pass through customs without any issues?" A woman's voice sounded anxious. "Of course we've taken care of everything. The counterfeit products are at the bottom of the boxes." "No one will suspect a thing," replied a male voice, which Benjamin recognized as Robert's. Benjamin's heart raced. Counterfeit products, hidden at the bottom of the boxes. He pressed his back against the cold wall, taking deep breaths to stay calm. He knew he should leave before being seen, but his feet felt frozen in place. "And the new guy, Benjamin, does he know anything?" the female voice asked. "Of course not, and he won't. He's just a pawn, useful for keeping up appearances. If someday the police find out, we'll find a way to pin the smuggling on him. After all, the guy is a poor former fruit seller who's going to believe him." Benjamin finally retreated, running out of the warehouse, rain beating against his face as he tried to sort out his thoughts. He was in danger. His family was in danger. He needed a plan. But first, he needed evidence. He couldn't go to the police with just words. They would need concrete proof. They were right. Who would believe the word of a humble worker? Returning home that night, the weight of reality hit him. The opportunity that seemed like a dream had turned into a nightmare. Benjamin knew that the next decisions would be crucial, not only for his safety, but for the integrity of his family. He spent the night awake, pondering how he could gather the necessary evidence without putting his loved ones at greater risk. In the following days, Benjamin had sifted through documents and discreetly observed the business operations. He began documenting everything that seemed suspicious, taking photos of invoices and records that evidenced the illegal movement of goods. It was a dangerous game, but Benjamin was determined not to let those criminals go unpunished. One afternoon, while Benjamin was at home organizing the evidence, his wife, Sophia, entered the room, visibly shaken. "Benjamin, I need to tell you something," her voice trembled. "Today at work, Robert called me for a meeting. He said he wants me to start handling the accounting for a new product line, but something about it seemed very strange to me. He told me not even to mention it to you. I quickly glanced at the documents, and I couldn't understand why me, just a simple janitor, should be involved in this." Benjamin felt a knot form in his stomach. He had tried to keep Sophia out of everything to protect her, but he quickly realized it was another way to incriminate his family if the business was discovered. After all, Sophia, along with other women, cleaned the company's office. Why now, suddenly, should she get involved with accounting? "Sophia, there's something I need to tell you," Benjamin hesitated, searching for the right words. "The business we're involved in, it's not what it seems. I found out they're smuggling counterfeit products, and from what I've uncovered, they're part of a network involved in different kinds of crime. The counterfeit products are just the tip of the iceberg." Sophia's eyes widened, covering her mouth with her hands. "What are we going to do?" she whispered. "I'm gathering evidence to take to the police. We need to distance ourselves from this as soon as possible." Benjamin held Sophia's hands. "But until then, we need to be very careful." "I'm scared, Benjamin," Sophia admitted, her eyes filled with tears. "I am too, but I'll protect you and our son, no matter what," Benjamin promised with fierce determination. Now, in addition to collecting evidence, Benjamin had to ensure his family stayed safe. They changed their daily routine, and Benjamin started accompanying Sophia to work, always vigilant for any sign of danger. The tension grew, along with the fear that something terrible could happen at any moment. However, Robert, noticing Benjamin's odd behavior, began to observe him without his notice. Eventually, Robert discovered that Benjamin was taking photos of products and documents. Suspecting that Benjamin would expose the business to the police, Robert and his men kidnapped Paul, Benjamin's son. At home that evening, desperate because his son hadn't returned from school, Benjamin received a phone call. "If you want to see your son again, Benjamin, come alone to the warehouse at Dock 12, and think carefully if you still want to go to the police." Robert's voice was cold, devoid of any humanity. Benjamin, consumed by a contained fury, drove to the agreed location, his heart beating out of sync with the ticking of the car's clock. Upon arrival, he found Paul tied to a chair, surrounded by boxes marked with suspicious labels. "Daddy!" Paul cried upon seeing him. "It's okay, son, I'll get you out of here," Benjamin said, approaching quickly, but he was interrupted by Robert, who emerged from the shadows with a gun pointed at him. "Not so fast, Benjamin. Did you really think you could betray us and get away with it?" Benjamin stopped, his hands raised in surrender, scanning the room for something he could use to turn the tables. "Robert, you don't have to do this. We can work this out another way." Benjamin tried to buy time, his mind racing to find an escape. "The only way out of this is for me to make you and your family disappear," Robert said, pointing the gun at Benjamin's face. At that moment, sirens could be heard in the distance. Before meeting Robert, Benjamin had alerted the police and exposed the entire scheme. Robert was distracted, looking towards the door, and Benjamin seized the opportunity. With a quick movement, he threw one of the boxes at Robert, knocking down the gun, and ran to untie Paul. "Let's go, quickly!" Benjamin pulled Paul by the hand, running towards the exit. The police entered the warehouse just as they were leaving, and a brief exchange of gunfire ensued. Benjamin felt a sharp pain in his shoulder, but kept running, shielding Paul with his body until they reached the safety of the police cars. "It's all right now, son, it's all right," Benjamin reassured, embracing his son while the police detained Robert and his team. After the turmoil and adrenaline of the rescue, Benjamin found himself in a hospital, recovering from physical wounds, while police officers moved through the corridors. Sophia was by his side, holding his hand. relieved that they had escaped that nightmare. "You saved our son, Benjamin. I don't know what we would do without you," Sophia spoke softly, her eyes still red from worry and sleepless nights. "I would do it all over again, Sophia, and we wouldn't have to go through any of this if I hadn't gotten us into this mess," Benjamin replied, his voice heavy with guilt. "Don't say that. You did what you thought was right. We're safe now, and that's what matters." Sophia tried to comfort Benjamin, but he knew it would take time for the internal scars to begin healing. Paul, now safe and far from any danger, entered the room with a drawing in hand. It was a simple picture of their family, all holding hands, with a big, smiling son above them. "Look, Daddy, I drew us 3, because now everything will be okay, right?" Paul asked, his eyes shining with renewed hope. "Yes, my champion, everything will be okay," Benjamin confirmed, pulling Paul into a careful hug, feeling a wave of emotion as he held his son. In the following months, Benjamin actively participated in his recovery and worked with authorities to ensure that all criminal operations were dismantled. The local community, knowing his role in exposing the criminal network, treated him like a hero, despite his insistence that he only did what any father would do. Gradually, Benjamin's and his family's life returned to normal. They decided to move to a new city, seeking a fresh start away from the painful memories of the past. There, Benjamin opened a small fruit shop, returning to the work he loved, but this time in a safe and peaceful environment. "We're starting over. Truly this time," Benjamin said to Sophia and Paul as he hung the open sign for the first time in their new life. "A fresh start," Sophia smiled, holding his hand tightly while Sam played happily beside them. This was a new chapter for Benjamin and his family, built on the lessons of the past and the promise of a peaceful and promising future. Did you enjoy this touching story of courage and family? Be sure to like the video, share your comments and suggestions, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episodes. Together, we can create more inspiring and meaningful stories. Thank you for being part of Moving